Okay, call the meeting in order. Full County Board, May 10th, 2016, 9 a.m. recess session. Call the roll, please.
Alt.
Here.
Anderson.
Present.
Barron.
Here.
Bill.
Present.
Crow. Curtis.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Asbargen. Heil.
Yes.
Joyce. Crumweedy. Lemie.
Here.
Persley.
Present.
Raymond.
Present.
Schmidt.
Present.
Schultz. Shore.
Here.
Wasmer. Whitlow.
Here.
Zumwalt.
Okay. Dean, the prayer, please.
The prayer this morning will be led by Reverend Zach Spill from the Milford Christian Church. You all rise, please.
Let's bow together, please. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts. We come today to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Please be with these leaders in their deliberations. Help them to be wise in the decisions they make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in their leadership. We thank you today for their service to our county, our communities, and our neighborhoods. Give them insight to lead with integrity that their decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep them from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help them to make decisions that strive to be for the good of all, and guard them from blind self-interest. Finally, dear Lord, grant us all the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and forever. Amen.
All right, we have Ms. Munson in the 5th grade class at Preston City Grade School. Going to lead us in the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That makes sense. We don't really have young ears in here, so keep it classy. We have every kind of agenda in front of them. We have motion to approve the agenda. Hanson, Charlie Alton seconds it. Any questions on the agenda? None? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the April 12, 2016 recess session.
So moved.
Jim Hiles, Larry Hasbargen seconds it. Any questions on the minutes? Not. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We have a motion to approve the payroll as presented. That's good. Second. Lemie. Any questions on the payroll? Seeing none. Let's call the roll, please.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Asbargen.
Yes.
Heil.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lemie.
Yes.
Persley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes. Motion carries 16-0. Next up is public comment. Public comment?
I think this is what this should be. The American Cancer Society Relay for Life is that their Relay for Life will be in June. Can't remember the actual dates right now, but I think it's shortly after or right before our next board meeting. I would like to encourage people to donate to the Relay for Life, and I'm a team member, and I'd be glad to take the money today if you want to do that. We have several people that are either members of our board or who have been members of our board who have suffered with cancer, and this is one way for us to help them out. Thank you.
Okay. Public comment? Chairman comment. Outside organization report. Yeah, I'm sure.
Good morning. I'm Ken Berry. I'm Executive Director of the Iroquois Economic Development Association. We are not a county office or committee. We're a nonprofit organization, but we are financed in part by the county board, and we operate throughout the county. I don't have a lot here for you, a little bit of updates and maybe have some questions if anybody has any. I wanted to talk about RP Lumber a little bit. There was the rumors running crazy around town. There was a meeting 2 weeks back, 3 weeks, at City Hall. The meeting was not over building codes, but it certainly took over the meeting, the discussion. It got pretty heated, and there was a little name calling, some was a little unnecessary. But Mayor Harwood kind of settled everybody back down and took charge of the meeting. He agreed. RP Lumber had been stopped from doing any of their construction at that point in time. The mayor agreed to let them begin construction again immediately, and he sent that evening he sent the appropriate players, 4 people, into a secondary meeting in the conference room so they could work some of the problems out, which they did. And the mayor did say that they're planning to review their procedures, processes, and ordinances to try to better serve prospective customers or businesses and the developers. They've been reviewing that. I think they realize that we got to welcome everybody with open arms. Bob did add that they're going to still go by the 2006 International Building Codes with reasonable discretion for all the developments. RP's hard at it again out there, adding a couple of new buildings, and they've remodeled the Capers building extensively, and they're shooting to open up by the end of July if they can. Talking about RP, I better talk about Alexander just a minute. I don't know if any of you made it to their anniversary celebrations. 125 years, 125th anniversary celebration. Had one in Gilman and one in Watseka. They put on quite a show last Friday in Watseka. They had about 10 distributors all set up with their tents and things out on 3rd Street in front of the store. The street was closed for most of the day. The weather couldn't have been better either. Well, it was a nice day, and they gave us some pretty good eats too. It was a good show. I think that I heard somebody say they had about 350 people that came through there while they were doing that. Some of their home office management was down there too. I was chatting with Russ Catherine, and he's the president, and I kind of jokingly, tongue-in-cheek said that I owed him an apology, and he said, "Why would you owe me an apology?" I said, "Well, when Capers closed down, I started sending letters and emails to different lumber yards, chains especially, to see if we could get anybody interested in locating one again in Watseka." I said I certainly didn't expect 2 of them to show up, and certainly not that close together. And Russ laughed. He said, "Well, that's not a problem, that they have their specialties. RP has their specialties. Each of them are better at some things than the others. They compete in a lot of localities." And he even said, it's a win for Watseka. We've got more competition now. So they're good people, both cases. I'd like to refer again to one of our directors. I mentioned Barbara Davis in a previous chat that we had here. I mentioned that she was developing a Facebook page to showcase some of the small businesses in the county. And she's still doing it. It's still a go, but she has experienced some dreaded computer problems for a number of weeks. And after she fought on it for a while, she invested in a new system. So there'll be more coming on that Facebook page down the road. Since I'm talking about Barb, I don't know if I mentioned, I think I did mention, she's going to become our IDA president, our president of our organization. In fact, that'll be next week at our annual meeting. We will be making history. She'll be the first woman president of IDA. Barb, a little sidebar, Barb won't be able to attend that meeting. She'll have to take the gavel the following week. She's going to be on safari in Kruger National Park in South Africa. She said to tell them I'm carrying a camera, not a gun. So she made me say that. And at camera point, in fact, she made me say that. But I'm looking forward to working with Barbara. She's got a lot of ideas, and she's very aggressive, and she's going to be good for us. Casey's. I'm sure everybody has noticed the piles of rocks and dirt and the massive mess that's out next to the old Big R store out there. Boy, that's been a long time coming. It was well over a year ago when they said that they were going to try to be open by the end of the summer. We just couldn't ask them which year, which summer, I guess. Every month they say, end of next month we'll get going, end of next month. Well, finally the end of next month came in the end of last month, so they're really digging in out there. They say they're going to try to be open by the end of July too. That seems like a huge challenge for me, that big project. But we'll see. I'm anxious to see their new store. It's going to be bigger and better. Anxious to see it when it gets open, but I'm still a little disappointed about Watsika losing an anchor off of Main Street. Maybe one more note, revolving loan activity. I think I've discussed revolving loans with 3 prospects in the last few weeks. 2 of them are probably didn't turn into real prospects. One is a pretty good prospect and may make an application. I find everybody knows about seems they all know about the revolving loan process, but they miss the word loan once in a while. A lot of people come in and they think it's going to be a grant, a gift that they don't have to pay back. And they also don't think there will be anybody to answer to, I guess, because you explain the red tape to them. There's not a lot, but there still is. I mean, reporting requirements, not only just to the county, but the county has to report to the state too on what's going on. So there's certain records that have to be kept, which a lot of people who come in and want a low interest loan and don't really want to have a lot of records to go with it. That doesn't work so well. But anybody have any questions?
What are they doing with the Casey's that's open now?
You mean after they move? That's going to be one of our projects, to try to get something in there. I really hate to see it sit empty for 2 or 3 years.
So they're not going to keep that one? They're not going to keep it?
No.
I mean, it seems like they don't have much rhyme and reason. Like they did one in LaSalle, Peru a couple months ago. They left them both open.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did one in where else was it? And they closed it, and then I saw a third one where they left them both open. I don't know, Plano, they left them both open.
I'm not sure, somebody else might know. I think there might be 2 Casey's in Gibson City.
Yeah, some of them they do, some of them they don't. But they're closing.
Jackson has 2 also.
Yeah.
They're closing this one?
They haven't made a statement one way or the other. I contacted them about a couple people who were interested in the building, and they said they're not in a position to consider that this time, so maybe they're still waiting to make up their mind. It would be nice to keep that the lights on in that building. Kuko's is next door. That's not to knock Kuko's, but it's changed hands a number of times in the last 2 or 3 years, and it'll be open and closed. And if we end up with that whole side of that block of Wall Street joining with the lights on being the post office, not a good look for the community. So I know that if Casey decides they're not going to leave that one open, which I don't think they are, but I don't know. If they decide they're not going to leave that one open, they're not going to let anybody in there that competes with them in any way, shape, or form. So it'll be a challenge to get somebody in there. Just don't want to see it sit empty and dark for 2 or 3 years like it did down Milford. It's worked out now since the hospital finally came in and put something in there. But Hospital doesn't need Casey's on Main Street, Waseca. They're here already, so. What are you gonna say?
That's the question I
Was
was
it?
asking. What are they gonna do with the old Casey's? Because there are quite a few communities that have two Casey's. I don't know what their game plan is. It's a pretty good company.
They're a great company, and they are very tight-lipped, and they won't say anything about what's happening. They finally see it happening, and then, why did you come? No, they're a good company. And they're growing. They're, we're glad to have them, lucky to have them. The one on Main Street would be nice if they kept it, because a lot of people go there to walk. I mean, they don't just go there to buy gas. They go there and buy necessities. So it would be nice if that was still available on Main Street. Pence is down the street has expanded their operations and picked up a little bit of that slack, but I don't know. And we probably won't know until they just make up their mind at the last minute. Anybody else? Questions? Thanks.
Thanks, Ken. Harlan?
I believe it was about the 16th of April. I lost my notes on this since the last board meeting. Right a couple days after last board meeting, I went to the extension meeting, ran into extension unit, 4-year flag, Champaign and Vermilion County. It was a short meeting because all they did was go over the budget for the year. We're just an advisory role to this. We don't have any voting say in the budget. It's all taken care of by the U of I. And the only thing I remember, I lost my notes, I don't know where they are, but we have about a $5 million budget. But Ginger was here, Finance Committee, the director of this unit, to show us all part of the expenses and income. She was here at the Finance Committee meeting. And the 4 counties combined provides $673, almost $674,000 in revenue for them and their spending in the year. Their budget for this year is a balanced budget, exactly like the budget of a year ago. You can see no changes. They still have all their programs going, but they're missing several presenters because they're a little reluctant to fill these positions because of the concern about money from the state. And they've been getting from the state, but they still are very concerned that they will provide the services they can during the year. Any questions?
Any other outside organization reports? If none, move on to policy and procedure.
Members of the county board and committee who would prefer policy and procedure would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Committee met at the Administrative Center on April 28, 2016 at 9 a.m. Members present, Anderson, Raymond, Hanson, Scher, and Barron. Bill Schultz and company were absent. Also present, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Finance Director Anita Speckman, County Engineer Joel Moore, Treasurer Mindy Coons-Hagan, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Niergler, 911 Director Ida Duval, ICPHD Administrator Dee Shippert, IDA Director Ken Berrigree, County Board Members Charlie Alt and Larry Hasparty. Meeting was called to order. During public comments, County Board Member Charlie Alt discussed the solid waste certificate of deposit that was recently renewed. He would like to see these funds used for a county-wide recycling day. County Board Member Kevin Hansen said he has contacted Kyle Bruno of River Valley Recycling and is waiting on a return phone call. Committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Planning and Zoning Chairman Dan Raymond will be reviewing the regular monthly reports with the committee. Finance Chairman Kevin Hansen reported the Finance Committee will discuss the funding of the community-wide garbage recycling day. Management Chairman Lyle Behrens and the Management Committee will discuss the phone contracts with the current renters, and regular monthly reports. Judicial Chairman John Scher reported normal reports will be received. For the IT Committee, Finance Director Anita Speckman explained the UPS failed yesterday, causing the phones and servers to go down. Smaller UPS that's kept on hand in the Finance office, and a larger UPS for 911 was used as a temporary solution to get the phones and servers up and running until a replacement is received. Beckman said, Rusty Sowers from area-wide will attend the IC meeting to discuss how we can better protect ourselves and provide that quote. County Board Chairman Anderson received a letter from the Board of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, the 377 Board, stating John Sumner's term on the board is expired, but he is willing to continue serving on the board if reappointed. Correspondence included an email from Muhammad Aquifer. The email was available for board members to review. Also, an email stating the Illinois Department of Revenue has uncovered misallocations to the personal property replacement tax fund. The email explains the error has resulted in overpayment of an estimated $168 million to the taxing districts that received CPRT disbursements. The committee reviewed claims that was moved by Scher and seconded by Hanson to pay the bills subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no further business coming before the committee. It was moved by Hanson and seconded by Barron to adjourn at 9:20 a.m. All of which is expressly submitted, signed by all members present, and I move its adoption. Second. Kevin Hanson, second. Any questions on the policy and procedure report? Steve?
That PPRT fund, how much does that affect our county?
A little over $26,000 is what we were overpaid.
We have to pay it back, or we just get
Right,
it
and the
deducted?
state has a plan they're going to put in place, and it will not start taking repayment until 2017. That's all we know.
The other interesting thing is they don't tell us the formula.
No.
So we can't double check what they're doing.
$6,000, correct,
Yeah.
you're right.
It'd be nice if they'd work with us and we could do our own calculations. We would have caught this before it got to 20.
Any other questions on the policy? Seeing none, call roll, please.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Asbargen.
Yes.
Isles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Lamine.
Yes.
Persley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Schuer.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes. Motion passes 16-0. Next up, Mr. Hanson, Finance Committee.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, the committee to whom referred finance executives submit the following report and matters before them. This committee met at the Administrative Center on April 7, 2016 at 9 a.m. Members present were Kevin Hanson, Brett Smith, Charlie Alt, Russell Bill, Ernie Curtis, and Dan Lang. Also present were Finance Director Rita Speckman, Treasurer Mindy Kuhn-Sagan, Probation Director Tom Latham, Sheriff Derek Hagan, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, ICPHC Administrator Dean Shepard, Susie Warner of Homestar Insurance, Randy Scholz of Scholz Insurance, Ginger Bullis of University of Illinois Extension, Kyle Bruno of River Valley Recycling, Wendy Davis of the Times Republic. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. It was moved by Charlie Alt and seconded by Ernie Curtis to amend the agenda to discuss the countywide cleanup day before department head reports. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Randy Scholz of Scholz Insurance said there were a couple of changes made in vehicles. Also, discussions have begun regarding mental health liability insurance. Susie Warner of Homestar Insurance Services gave the committee an updated HRA rate of 3.3%. Warner has also reached out to Health Alliance to get an early renewal in June as we have in the past. Ginger Bullis of the University of Illinois presented her fiscal year 17 annual budget plan to the committee and noted they are owed approximately $600,000 by the state. Bullis said they have not increased their levy in many years, but are making a request to do so now. The current levy rate is 0.02038, and they would like to increase it to 0.0224, resulting in a $10,000 increase in their revenue. The committee discussed the matter and agreed with the increase. Bullis said she will draft an agreement with the higher rate. Kyle Bruno, River Valley Recycling, was asked to speak to the committee about countywide cleanup days. He said there would be a charge of 25 or 30 cents per pound. Mr. Bruno suggested having someone from the county at the recycling center to have a check IDs verifying individuals are from within the county. Mr. Bruno said that success of the event depends on how well it's advertised, and said it needs to be held at one central location. Finance Chairman Kevin Hansen told the committee he spoke with the State's Attorney Tim Devine regarding the solid waste fund, and Devine said the funds can be used for this event. Russell Bills asked that all county board members speak to the road commissioners about recycling events and see how they respond. Mr. Bruno stressed to make sure it is known that the event is for electronics only. Department heads gave a monthly report that are as follows. Treasurer Mindy Kuhn provided a report of state payments. She said that she is unsure when the tax bill printing process will begin. Sheriff Derek Hagan informed the committee the deputy has been released from workman's compensation and will return to work May 9th. At this time, Hagan doesn't foresee any capital improvements for the jail or courthouse for the next budget year. Because of this, Hagan would like to purchase additional squad cars in the new budget year. Hagan made the committee aware of House Bill 5619, which recently passed the House. Currently, if juvenile is detained, there is a 40-hour period, excluding weekends and holidays, for the juvenile to be seen in court. The amendment reduces the hours to 24-hour time period, including weekends and holidays. Lastly, Hagan reported he has a correction officer leaving June 30th. The job opening has been published in the newspapers. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler discussed House Bill 0696, which passed the House. The bill put a freeze on levies and extensions effective 2015. If this passes the Senate, extensions and tax bills would have to be recalled. ICPHD Administrator D. Shepard gave an update on the outstanding balance owed to the Health Department by the state, which is approximately $213,000. Finance Director Anita Speckman discussed a change in accounting policies mentioned by Hope Wheeler with Clifton Larson Allen. The change allows revenue to be received 180 days within a fiscal year end rather than 60 days. This is due largely to the delay in late payments being received by the state of Illinois that can relate to the prior fiscal year, and allows appropriate matching of expenses and revenue in the same fiscal year. It was moved by Bills and seconded by all to change the revenue referral policy from 60 days within a fiscal year end to 180 days within a fiscal year end. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Hansen noted he spoke with Devine regarding blank loans, and Devine is going to move forward with the collection. Committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Brett Smith and seconded by Daniel Raymond to pay the bill subject to county board approval. The roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Under new business, Speckman provided support for budget adjustments in the IT fund and the special attorney hire. Bills explained the outage that occurred the previous week, causing the phones and servers to go down. IT Chairman Troy Crumley is contacting an electrician regarding the possibility of electricity problems within the building, and Speckman is contacting Ameren. Speckman said a reduction in the contingent line item by $4,000 and an increase in the system's expense line item by $4,000 needs to occur. Also, additional part-time public defender was hired in November, and the budget needs to reflect this change. A reduction from courts, special hire by $18,000 and in an increase in public defender special attorney hire by 18 would correct this. It was moved by Bills and seconded by all to move the $4,000 from contingent budget to IT budget and $18,000 from the courts to special attorney hire to public defender special attorney hire. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Lastly, Speckman received an email from the Department of Labor requiring us to list every contractor we've paid over the last year. The list was sent yesterday to each department asking for contact information. If there's no further business to be come before the committee, it was moved by Alton, seconded by Raymond to adjourn at 10:37 a.m. Motion carried by voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to accept the finance committee report. Is there a second? Any questions on the finance committee report? Let's call the roll, please.
I got one to say.
Say.
We need to make sure, we keep calling this a cleanup day, but this is basically just the electronic side. This is stuff that most recyclers won't take unless the citizens pay them to take it. And this would, hopefully we can get this set up where it works and every community gets to use it. That's it.
Call the roll, please.
Bills.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Hathbargen.
Yes.
Hiles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Lamine.
Yes.
Persley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Anderson. Barron.
Yes.
Motion passes 15-0. Next up, management committee, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Board, your committee to whom was referred management services is beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on April 4, 2016 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barron, Crowe, Schur, Alt, Hathbargen, and Joyce. Adam Jim was absent. Also present, Finance Director Anita Speckman, Maintenance Supervisor, 5 minutes, Mary Pankey, 911 Director Nida Duval, Business Manager of DNS Farms, Paul Forging, County Board Member Dean Hiles, members of Head Start staff, and Wendy Davis with the County Public. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. Business Manager of DNS Farms, Paul Forging, informed the committee spraying occurred last week. During the time they were spraying, 2 tile holes were found and both were fixed. Garbage disposal contracts were discussed. Management Chairman Lyle Barron told the committee that the contracts for the Administrative Center and the courthouse will expire in July. It was moved by Donna Crowe and seconded by Larry Hathbargen to move forward with publishing bids as done in previous years for garbage removal for the Administrative Center and courthouse. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Barron informed the committee he had received no opinion from State Attorney Jim Devine in regards to the gardens for Head Start. Dan Joyce asked the Head Start staff to consider setting up something inside their classroom. So stated she would like to see the garden project happen without an increase in rent, and if it becomes a problem, we have the right to stop the project at any time. It was moved by Joyce and seconded by Charlie Alt. Table matter of Head Start garden project another month until State Attorney Jim Devine is in attendance. Motion carried by a voice vote with Hathbargen and Crowe voting nay. Finance Director Anita Speckman said she has a meeting with our AT&T account manager on Wednesday to discuss rates. The committee discussed the upcoming expiring office rentals. Speckman prepared a spreadsheet listing utilities, personnel costs, and capital expenditures. The spreadsheet broke down the estimated cost per square foot compared to the current amount being charged to each renter. Besides FSA, the renter's leases are 3-year terms. The committee members discussed increasing rent per square foot for each renter. It was moved by John Schur and seconded by Charlie Alt to set the rental rate at $6.73 per square foot for Champaign Regional Commission and extend the lease term for 3 years. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Maintenance Supervisor Larry Pankey reported on following. Pankey is still working with the city regarding the water meter
Thank you. Contacted County Engineer Joel Moore about the sinkholes east of the jail. He said he will look at it. And the supervisor 5 minutes report on the following. Cooling tower has been cleaned up. The street sign has been installed. Last year, we received a quote of $7,000 for touch-up painting on the administrative center. The project is already budgeted. The committee agreed for Mence to move forward with the project. Donna Crowe commented on the abundance of dandelions in the yard around both buildings. Sankey said we used to have a vendor that would spray around the building. Crowe asked that either Sankey or Mence contact vendors about spraying and get prices. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Hathard and seconded by Crowe to pay the bills subject to county board approval. Motion carried by a roll call vote. It was moved by Joyce, seconded by all to adjourn the meeting at 10:35. Motion carried by a voice vote. All of which is respectfully submitted. I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to accept the management committee report. Is there a second? Dan Boyd, second. Question on the management. Larry?
I'd like to move where, in the paragraph where it says, please, she would like to see the garden project happen, down to where, just before motion carried by a voice vote, and Hathard and Crowe voted nay. I'd like to see that removed in for separate consideration.
Rose, David, would you like?
And the reason this is done is because there is a county board member that's against renewing the lease to Homestead Head Start. And Mr. Devine came here, and he's going to explain why it's okay to renew that lease.
We got a motion on the floor. You want to start with as Crowe stated, and then end at the end of the paragraph. At the end, what does Crowe voting nay, Larry, the rest of that paragraph?
Really take that whole paragraph.
Let's take the whole paragraph. We'll make it easier.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to remove the paragraph starting with Barron's informed the committee has received no opinion on that whole paragraph. Separate consideration. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I'll second that one. Okay. Yes vote, we'll remove it for separate consideration. If no vote, we'll keep it in the body of the report. Just rereading it, see what. Everybody understand how we're voting, what we're voting? Okay. We'll call the roll, please.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis,
No.
Hanson,
Yes.
Aspargan,
Yes.
Isles,
Yes.
Joyce,
No.
Lemie,
Yes.
Pursley,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Shore,
No.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Alt,
No.
Anderson, Barron,
Yes.
Hill.
Yeah.
You can go from there, you want to come up here? That's 12 and 4. All right. Consider this separately.
You know, as far as the gardens is concerned, as long as they're not growing marijuana, medicinal marijuana, of course. So, I mean, that's a county board decision. I know there's another board member that had an issue or a concern about sex offenders, the potential of sex offenders being in the building when we have Head Starts located on the premises, and thoroughly reviewed the statute, the sex offender registration statutes, talked with my contact at the state police who interprets the statute, as well as lawyers in my office, and I have no issue with the application of the sex offender statute as it currently stands, and having the Head Start building, or the Head Start operation on our building. So it's just not something that is illegal for them to be there or a concern. So unless anybody else has any questions about the status of how that would be applicable to us
here in the county board, and having Head Start here with the potential sex offenders being in the building to maybe pay a tax bill or in attendance at a county board meeting, it's not an issue. There's not loitering, near the, they can't be within 500 feet from loitering within the Head Start operation. They're not to be within 100 feet of the bus stop where they're loading and unloading children. But again, it doesn't prohibit them from being here. It doesn't prohibit Head Start from being in this building with their operations. So there's no legal impediment for Head Start to be here based on the sex offender registration statute. Any questions?
So they can't be within 500 feet
They can't loiter.
and loiter.
But they can't loiter within 500 feet. They have to have permission to be on school premises. In other words, if they're just standing around within 500 feet of a school or a daycare, then that would be prohibited. Or registered sex offenders should be within that premise. Okay, any more questions? Thank you.
Oh, there's one.
They put the garden on the county grounds. Should the legal description of what's leased to Head Start include the gardens?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not privy to where they're planning on putting the garden. So,
Well, if we never saw exactly where they were going, I didn't think, but shouldn't they be?
well, probably it wouldn't be a bad idea perhaps to have it at least to add a little bit of square footage where they're planning on having the garden, just so that they know that that little area is part of
Yes,
the plan.
in the lease itself.
Yeah, I think make it clear. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have a section identified.
Does the lease include their playground area, or is it only the indoor area?
I don't know. I have someone at this very moment researching that issue.
What's the next move? A motion out of this?
Yes. That was really no action to be taken. It might be in the fine print. I'm not sure.
I'm actually looking for their lease, and I don't see it in this file.
I haven't seen that lease in years, so I don't know if it includes the playground area or not.
Well, if it does, we shouldn't be charging them the same amount of rent for the playground area as we do for the indoor facility. Because there's no light, there's no heat there.
Right.
Why would we charge them for that?
I think Anita has an answer.
The legal description reads, "The portion of the Iroquois County Administrative Center, 1001 East Grant, and consisting of 2,688 square feet, more or less, and now commonly known as rooms 100 and 102, along with the use of the outdoor play area, restroom, and kitchenette, all being located in said Iroquois County Administrative Center."
So then if we increase their lease, we're charging them the same amount for the playground area as we are for the indoors. Charging them for heat and light.
I don't think so. I think we're just billing, we're just
That's
charging
just
per
the
square foot
inside.
of the inside building.
But it allows-
Along with the use means they just get to use it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're probably, you can look at the other leases, it's gonna be by the square foot. I don't think we pick on anybody, we don't charge somebody else a bunch more that I know of.
Well, then if we give them permission to use the playground area, I can see no reason why we cannot give them permission to put up their gardens as they want. In my opinion, we need to be helping people in Iroquois County to become more educated, to find out more about where food comes from. These are low-income children. They're not going to have a hydroponic garden in their home. They need to have access to a regular garden, and we need to move on this today so they can go ahead and put that in. How many of us have our crops in or have our gardens in already?
Well, actually, if they're going to have the garden on their leased premises that are already occupied, they don't need any permission from the county board.
Well, they were
I assume
set it
you're talking
outside.
about out front or elsewhere.
Where it would be
Just
as
across
part
the
of the
fence.
fenced-in area by where their storage shed is, and it would be
18?
9 pallet stacks that have a couple feet in between each pallet stack.
So if it's outside their current leased premises, then they need permission from the county board to expand that part of what they do to have, so that they have control over that. But if they're going to do it on property they already pay rent on, they don't need their own control.
Well, I think like this.
And they've approached us with exactly that proposal. At the location, they did provide a description of a location. Is it possible, because I'd like to do this on a trial basis, if it doesn't work out, then next year I'd like to just say, no more garden. However, I'd like to see us not charge them an additional rent for that and let them have a go at it. So can we do that by addendum to their lease? Instead of changing wording in it or whatever, can we add an
Sure, you can-
addendum?
Yeah, you can amend and add to the lease by agreement, whatever the board and their sponsors.
Well, this seems like kind of a special situation, and we've, standardized the wording in the leases, so I was thinking that that might be a quicker vehicle to get this done, and then in the event we didn't want to do it, we could just vote, by motion to remove the addendum from the lease, rip it off the back, and it's over.
Really?
Are you saying that we're entering into a 3-year lease and an addendum with them, it'll all go 3 years?
No, we could state that it's on a trial basis for 1 year.
It's whatever
on
you
the
negotiate,
addendum.
to say in the lease. If you vote to have an addendum, and it's whatever you want to say in it. You can put time limits on it, whatever you negotiate.
Their lease expires August 31st of this year. So you could do an addendum to the end of this lease
Sure.
and add, but it does expire.
Put it into
You're
the
going to have to
August
do
if they
something at
leave.
the end of August anyway.
Oh, my only concern would be if this thing doesn't fly and it dies, they got to figure it out, we don't. That would be the only issue I can see.
And
My thing when we were in the committee on that is, I'm not against kids learning. Why I suggested aquaponics is they could use it year-round. So that the kids aren't planting stuff and going home for the summer, nobody's here to take care of it, pull the weeds, or see the end result. That was my point. I'm not against kids learning. I suggested to try to help them so they could do something where the kids could plant it, watch it every day, take care of it, see the end result. My opinion is I'm not against the kids learning, but they're going to plant this stuff and then go home for the summer. Who's going to take care of it? Who's going to water it? Who's going to weed it? It is.
It's already was settled, when the people presented this plan, that they would be here to take care of it, and take and read it. It's not going to be let it grow into a mess. And then the conditions would be, if they didn't do that, then we would just suspend it.
But the point was to plant the garden so the kids could be here to do it, and the kids aren't going to be here through 80% of it anyway.
Whatever they are here for, it's going to be a benefit. If they're here for 10%, it's going to be a 10% benefit for them, over zero.
As long as it's 0% hindrance to the county.
Yeah,
Move on.
that's the big
Don?
And I want to be clear too, if this turns into a problem, then I say, no, we suspend the part of it. I wish I could quote this more accurately, and I can't, I apologize, but it's the numbers about where for every dollar invested in a child in future programs, there's, I want to say, a $5 savings. So when I think in terms of that at a young age, and we have an opportunity to have that impact in their life, and as government people, we look down the road and go, wow, that's a pretty good return on your dollar.
Any other comments on this?
Need a motion to approve the rate?
One other thing, I have talked to the people that do the mowing. If it goes through, they said they would supply mulch in between, so it would be neat and clean, and they would supply that at no charge.
And the Head Start staff said they'll take care of it through the summer.
Any other questions on this? Dan?
Anita, in the lease, what's the requirement for liability insurance in there? I don't think it'd be a bad idea to, part of the agreement, to have to have it, in case a child or someone gets injured.
Lessor shall not be liable for any injury or damage to any person or to any property at any time on said premises from any cause whatsoever, which may arise from the use or occupancy of the premises from the leasee. Leasee agrees to hold harmless and indemnify lessor from and all loss, liability, and expenses, including attorney's fees, court costs, that may be incurred by reason of any injury to person or persons resulting from the use or occupancy of the premises by the lessee.
Okay. Question, motion?
Motion to set the garden.
You have a question first?
No.
Okay, then we'll answer that too.
I'll give it a second. I'm sorry, get the seat to the ground.
Go on. Motion
Motion to allow them to go to the garden.
with that addendum and
And the
And the stipulation, we can, if it's not good in 1 year, we can shut it off.
any questions on the motion here? Donna?
what would be the period of the addendum in your motion, Larry? 1 year or 3 years?
1 year.
Does it have to run concurrently with the lease?
That's for Mr. Devine.
So I guess I would suggest doing it through the end of this lease period,
Then they do it.
and then do whatever with the new lease. That way, it syncs it up with the, and by August, we'll know whether they took care of it and stuff.
So that's good.
Let me read that back. Summarize a little.
I just have a motion to allow them to grow the garden with an addendum to the lease through August of 2016.
Yeah, perfect.
Cover it, and then you can
I think we need to put wording in there that they're gonna take care of it.
Well, won't that mean?
Kids aren't gonna be here, they need to keep it,
Not
we need to take care
We
of
will
it.
put that in the agenda.
Jim, will you help us with the addendum? Yes. Okay, perfect. I'm comfortable with it now. All right. Any other questions on this? Okay, we'll call a roll on it.
Okay, Curtis,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yeah.
Atwater,
Yes.
Miles. Yes. Boyd,
Yeah.
Lemie,
Yes.
Hursley,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Willow,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Still,
Yes.
Crow. Yes.
Motion passes 16-0. Questions on the remaining body of the report? John Sherman.
I'd like to make a motion for separate consideration for the paragraph near the bottom of the first page that talks about expiring office rentals. In particular, the sentence where it says it was moved by John Scher and seconded by Charlie Alt to set the rental rate at $6.73 per square foot for Champaign Regional Planning Commission and extend the lease to them for 3 years.
Okay. And motion on the floor to separate consideration of the last paragraph there. You have a second? And Joyce? there's an issue with this, so we need to get this separated and work it out. But you have folks separate that, no, he's been buying the report.
There's an issue with the six, which is the memo we have on our
The
desk.
issue, we didn't send the proper notification to the client. Call the roll, please.
Hanson. Asbarger.
Yes.
Biles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lee.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Raymond. Schmidt.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Ault.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes. That motion passes. Summarize that, what do you think? John?
The issue is that the lease that the Champaign Regional Planning Commission has right now has a clause in it stating that they have to be given 90 days notice prior to the expiration of their lease, which we weren't aware of at the time this happened, and so what we're going to need to do is extend their lease for one more year, and prior to the expiration of that lease, give them a notice that the rent will be increased.
Okay. I understand why it's removed.
Are any of our other leases worded like this that we need to know or be aware of?
Not internally. There's a couple, I believe we ran into that with garbage.
Yeah, some of the contracts are that
Contracts,
way,
not-
utility contracts, but this is the only lease that has that clause in it.
Yeah, after this came up, we checked.
Okay. Moved now.
So, I guess we still have time. If you want, we can send it back to committee, or we can just say we'll extend it for the 1 year under the term with approved increase that was built into the contract.
And
I'd make a motion to send it back to committee so we can clarify it. We didn't have this information when we voted on this. Anita can get us the exact numbers, but I think they're in here anyway, but we can clarify it in committee and bring it back to the board next month.
That's the deadline on it anyway, so it's not a crisis to take care of right now. But I agree. Got a motion on the floor to send this matter back to committee. Is there a second? John sure seconds it. Any questions on that? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Asbarger.
Yes.
Biles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lee.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Raymond. Schmidt.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Ault.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yep. That's 15-0. Any questions on the body of the report, which is basically they call to order and they adjourn. Not all flat. Seeing none, clerk call the roll on the body of the report.
Biles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lee.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Raymond. Schmidt.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Ault.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes?
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow. Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Asbarger.
Yes.
That motion passes.
I have a question. Do we need to vote on those, that we took out?
We already did.
We already did? Okay.
Next up, tax committee, Whitlow, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your tax committee, your committee, dealing with the first tax, the big lead to submit the following report and the matters before them. Your committee had an administrative building on May 3, 2016 at 9 a.m. Members present were Present were Schultz, Carnegie, Smith, Whitlow, and Kersley. Also present, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Finance Director Anita Speckman, Treasurer Mindy Cruz-Hagen, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, Director of Environmental Health Jerry Hyman, Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf, Animal Control Warden Shea Cobb, County Board members Larry Hasbargen, Gene Hiles, Wendy Davis of the Times Republic. The meeting is called to order. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Dale Schultz and seconded by Dan Persley to pay the bills, subject to county board approval. Motion carried by roll call vote. There were no public comments. The department heads give their monthly reports. County Clerk Lisa Fancher reported as of last week they still had approximately 130 statements of economic interest yet to be filed. Regular mail notices via certified mail. Fancher's office called each person, and now they are only waiting on 20 to be filed. Last month, the tax committee discussed changing vendors in regards to the delinquent tax process. Fancher spoke with State's Attorney Jim Devine about the termination, and he believed that we should give a 120-day notice as stated in the old contract. Fancher's only concern is there are several partials in the court system that the current vendor is handling. The committee agreed to allow Devine to follow proper protocol to determine our contract with the existing vendor as stated in the previous month's meeting. On the tax extension side, they are working through final steps. Fancher said that they should be on target to follow the Treasurer's office to mail tax bills out next week. Lastly, Fancher spoke about House Bill 0696 relating to the property tax extension limitation law. She said it recently passed the House but hasn't gone to the Senate. The bill freezes levies and extensions beginning in the 2015 levy year if passed. Treasurer Mindy Cruz-Hagen notified the committee that a local drainage district went through the proper procedures for additional assessment. The Treasurer's office is in the process of mailing the notices out for these 23 parcels, which will be a 30-day pay. Supervisor of Assessment Bob Yergler said his office is processing assessor changes. Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf gave his report for April. There were 22 calls, 10 dogs picked up, 2 dog bites, 2 cat bites, 1 bat reported. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Persley and seconded by Whitlow to adjourn the meeting at 9:40 a.m. Motion carried all by a voice vote. All which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I would move for its adoption.
Got a motion on the floor, tax committee report, is there a second? Dan Persley, second. Questions on the tax report?
Updating a little bit. We rolled to the treasurer's office yesterday, so they have some reports yet to do, I believe, and then probably will be printing this weekend.
Debbie just called this morning and rolled, so we started this morning, just before 9 o'clock.
And the House Bill 696 that I talked about died in a subcommittee in the Senate for this year.
Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Joyce,
Yes.
Lemie,
Yes.
Persley,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Asperger,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Motion passes 16-0. Next up is the IT committee. There is the county board and the committee to whom is referred. IT would beg leave to submit the following reports on the matters before them. The committee met at the Administrative Center on May 3rd, 2016 at 10:05 a.m. Members present, Crumley, Schultz, Bills, Anderson. Also present, Finance Director Anita Speckman, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, Maintenance Supervisor Clyde Ness, Wesley Towers with area-wide, county board members Larry Hasbarger and Gene Hiles, and Wendy Davis with the Times Republic. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. Finance Director Anita Speckman gave the committee an overview of the April 28th outage. The outage caused the phone system and network to go down. Speckman contacted area-wide immediately, and they were here within an hour. She
said. In the meantime, 911 Director Nida Duval and Assistant 911 Director of County Drake were assisted via phone by Rusty Towers at Area Wide. The cause of the failure has not been identified. To minimize future risk, a 1,400-watt external UPS can be purchased for $600, but there's still a risk of lost data due to the inability to gracefully shut down servers. Another option is to install an integrated UPS at a cost of approximately $3,000. With the system, all components are plugged into two UPSs. If one fails, the other is functioning. Second, explain there is nothing budgeted for IT costs. The Finance Committee could add a line to IT fund for expenses. IT Chairman Troy Cronin suggested the problem could be an electrical issue in the building and said he'd contact a local electrician. Additionally, Second will contact Cameron. It was moved by Dale Schultz and seconded by Russell Bills to ask the Finance Committee to fund the specified equipment as quoted by Area Wide, plus the labor to install. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. It was moved by Anderson and seconded by Bills to adjourn at 10:52 a.m. Motion carried. All of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for its adoption. There is a second. Russell Bills seconds it. Any questions on this? Already addressed the finance.
Is it all in process? I mean, it's going through the process so that we can get that new equipment,
Anita,
the protection equipment, whatever?
the equipment, the process, where are we at in that?
Well, we have the replacement, the one that was replaced under warranty has been received, and that was installed on Thursday. This second one, so we have dual, is not ordered yet, pending approval of the board.
You only had one, that only failed one time, the way it went down, that was the first thing.
The way it went down is the only time that's happened, but it is very, very unusual. The manufacturer was surprised. It just typically does not happen.
Any questions? Seeing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Lamine.
Yes.
Persley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Anderson. Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis. Hanson.
Yes.
Asbargen.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Joyce.
Passes 15-0. Next up, Mr. Whitlow, Health Committee, please.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, your committee to whom referred help with Big League to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on May 3, 2016 at 9:44 a.m. Members present were Colonel Schultz, Smith, Whitlow, and Persley. Also present, Director of Environmental Health, Terry Hyman, County Board members Larry Husbargen and Gene Hiles, and Wendy Davis of the Times Republic. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. Director of Environmental Health, Terry Hyman, distributed a summary report of activities for community and school health programs, environmental, and senior programs. Hyman updated the committee on the Iroquois Memorial Hospital programs. WIC had a signed caseload of 557. Their actual caseload is 426. Family Case Management has a signed caseload of 182. Their actual caseload is 166. Healthy Families of Illinois has a signed caseload of 32. Their actual caseload is 30. Hyman gave a brief summary of the audits recently completed for Healthy Families of Illinois and Adult Protective Services, stating that each had very few findings. As there were no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Brett Smith and seconded by Dale Schultz to adjourn at 9:50 a.m., all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by members present, and I would move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to accept the Health Committee report. Second, Dan Joyce. Questions on the Health Committee report? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Persley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Shore. Whitlow.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill. Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Asbargen.
Yes.
Piles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lenise.
Yes.
Passes 15-0. Next up, Mr. Sher, conditional public statement, please.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred judicial and public safety would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on May 4, 2016 at 3 p.m. Members present were Sher, Barons, Curtis, Hiles, Lemay, and Whitlow. Donna Crowe was absent. Also present, Sheriff Derek Hagan, Probation Supervisor Barb King, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, Coroner Bill Cheatham, 911 Director Nida Duval, and Wendy Davis with the Times Republic. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. Sheriff Derek Hagan's monthly report for April included patrolled at 500 calls for service for the month of April. Year-to-date calls for service 1,983, 2% more than 2015. Booked in 75 prisoners for the month of April. Year-to-date booked in 245. Average daily population April 16. Average length of stay for April 14 days. Year-to-date average population 17. Year-to-date average length of stay 13 days. Overtime in the jail for April was 196 hours on the schedule. Part-time corrections was 0 hours. Deputy has been cleared for full duty work and will be back May 9. Hagan made the committee aware of House Bill 5619, which recently passed the House. Currently, if a juvenile is detained, there is a 40-hour period excluding weekends and holidays for the juvenile to be seen in court. The amendment reduces the hours to a 24-hour time period, including weekends and holidays. Hagan plans to contact Senator Barrickman and ask him not to support this bill. Coroner Bill Cheatham reported morgue fees in Kankakee have increased by $50 due to their budget. Probation Supervisor Barb King provided a probation and court services activity report for April 2016 as follows. Adult Division caseload, new admissions 12. General caseload client totals 177. Pretrial services 0. Sex offender 34. Cases closed 13. Caseload totals 215. Investigation reports 8. GPS monitoring 3. Juvenile division caseload. New admissions 4. Pretrial pending clients 24. Cases closed 3. Caseload totals 94. Detention screenings completed 3. Juveniles detained 2. Department monthly year-to-date totals. Total clients, client contacts successful 492. Total urine analysis and blood alcohol test 4. King asked the committee for pre-approval of a claim for their adult assessment system. Judicial Chairman John Sher told King to contact him once the invoice is received. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report to the committee for review. Hines stated credit collection partners collected $6,731.42 in April. 911 Director Nida Duval, DTSP report for April was reviewed as follows. Total calls for service 1,889. Police 1,195. Fire 137. Ambulance 318 with 203 change of quarters. Coroner 22. Animal control 14. Last month 13% of the 911 calls received were landline and 87% were wireless, with a total of 1,365 911 calls received. There were 3,604 non-emergency calls received. Telecommunicators worked 137 hours overtime in April. Director worked 84 and a half hours. Training, CPR training on April 11th. Telecommunicators attended 2 EMT-B classes for EMD continuing education. Legislation, House Bill 4521 allows for sweeping of 911 funds. Hearing is set for House Revenue and Finance Committee at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. 911 is opposing this bill and requests witness slips in opposition. The committee reviewed claims. It was moved by Whitwell and seconded by Lemay to pay the claim subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. If there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Ernie Curtis and seconded by Lyle Barron to adjourn the meeting at 3:23 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor, accept the additional public safety committee report. Was there a second? Ernie Curtis seconds it. Questions? Call the roll.
Raymond. Schmidt.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
All.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron. Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Asperger.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Lemay.
Yes.
Persley.
Yes.
After 15-0, next up, Mr. Bill, Transportation Highway Committee, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your information in your first transportation highway, the second release, municipality report on the mayor's report. Your committee met with the county highway building on May 6, 2016, at Mount Committee President was Bill All Piles and Donald Crow. Kevin Hanson, Bill Schultz, and Larry Cashfire were absent. Also present, county engineer Bill Moore, county board member John Scher, Fairfield County resident Barbara Stickner, Prairie Green Road Commissioner Rob Overland, and Wendy Davis of the Times Republic. The meeting was called to order. There was no public comment. The place of financial reports for the month were reviewed. It was moved by Charles Old, seconded by Ronald Crowe, to pay the bills, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. The motion is carried. County highway was $82,940. County bridge was $234. County matching was $12,287. Nothing out of our township bridge. County motor fuel tax was $57,175. Township motor fuel tax was $176,541. County engineer Bill Moore presented a resolution for matching tax and a local agency agreement for federal participation, both relating to county highway 42. The total cost for the local agency agreement amounts to $360,000, with $288 being paid from the FDP bridge funds, and the remaining $72,000 paid by state matching assistance. It was moved by Charles Ball, seconded by Gene House, to accept the local agency agreement for federal participation on County Highway 42. Motion carried by voice vote. Moore explaining the resolution for the improvement of County Highway 42 states that an appropriate sum of $1,000 from the county allotment of matching tax funds for the construction of this improvement, and the county agrees to pay a supplemental resolution to provide for any necessary funds for its share if the project, if the state match funds were not sufficient enough to cover the cost. It was moved by Donna Pearl and seconded by Gene to adopt the resolution for matching tax to pay the local portion for the county highway 42. That motion is carried by voice vote. Moore informed the committee there will be a bid levy next month for a motion storage tank. Highway Chairman Russell Rose asked the committee to speak to the road commissioners about a electronics recycling event that counties would like to have. There is funds in place, and we are in the preliminary planning stages of this now. I have suggested contacting Senator Jason Reckland and State Representative Tom Bennett about the service they used last year for their recycling event. As there was no further business to come before the committee, they were moved by all to second by House to adjourn at 9:42 a.m. That motion carries. All with the effect of noted, signed by all members present, and all move for the adoption of the report.
Motion on the board to accept the Transportation and Highway Committee report, is there a second? Charlie Alt. Question? On the roll, please.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill. Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yeah.
Atfargen.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Lamie.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Raymond.
Okay. Passes 15-0. Everybody should have a list of claims for them. A motion to approve the claim. Not sure. Second by Jen Whitlow. Questions on the claim? Call roll, please.
Stewart.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yeah.
Atfargen.
Yes.
Miles. Joyce.
Yeah.
Lamie.
Yes.
Pursley.
Yes.
Raymond. Schmidt.
Yeah.
And also passes 16-0. We have 6 appointments, and a motion on the floor to accept the appointment. Hanson, second by Larry Hathaway. Questions on the question? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. The old business. None in new business.
Just so the board is aware, there is a House bill floating around out there that any overpayment made by the state not have to be paid back. Just so you're aware. That is about that. We'll see. It's House Bill 6568.
We'll make our own bill, if there's any overpayments from them, we want to pay back to you.
Right. When I first heard about it, it was just the school district, but this does not specify that. So.
Noted. Any other new business? Motion to adjourn. All, is there a second?